In this video, I'm going to give you my complete process for getting out of my head and into my body in less than 2 minutes. So if you have been a guy and maybe you see a beautiful woman and you freeze up and you freak out and your brain won't let you move your feet and go and talk to her, or you're in the middle of a conversation, maybe you have an interaction going and the girl might even be into you, but you freeze up and your brain stops working, you stop coming up with things to say, and you look weird. If those things are happening to you, if you're running out of things to say, you're keeping yourself from taking the action that you want to take to meet the women that you actually want to date, then this video is for you. Let's talk about what's actually happening when you freeze up. And when you're in your head, a lot of times what you're experiencing is that you think that the outside world is something else than it actually is. Okay, so you're over exaggerating the bad from the outside world, and you're not looking at the good or the neutral. Okay, so you're just not being objective. And a big part of this comes from when we get stuck in our head, we keep thinking that like we're special, we're the main character, like we are the only one that has these thoughts, when everyone else is actually thinking the exact same thing as us. And so when we think about that, we can realize that like actually people would love for us to come up to them and just genuinely give some sort of experience or value to them. People would actually like that, because when you think about how you want to be appreciated by other people, you can imagine that someone else thinking the exact same thing wants that as well. And so what I do, my 2-minute process for getting out of my head and into my body, is to actually literally meditate while I'm out. So if I'm at the bar, I will literally slow down, take a deep breath, and look around objectively at what is happening around me. I will look at the people just moving their mouths, sounds coming out of them. I'm not judging what is actually happening. I'm looking at the lights. I'm listening to the music, but I'm not putting the notes together. I'm just listening to the sounds. And I'm thinking about the lights and how they actually look. And I'm feeling the vibration of the bass in my chest. Like I'm feeling the movement around me. I'm feeling the air. And when you can do that for a couple minutes in the bar or the club or even on the street when you're about to approach a woman, that really gets you out of your head. And it allows you to think enough, gives you enough room to think to where you can actually make an approach. What I want you to do is go out and actually try this. So go outside, try to meditate and like look around at people moving around, and don't judge what's going on. Because the reason you're stuck in your head is because you're judging what's going on around you and you're paying too much attention to details that don't matter. When at the end of the day, the people that are like out of their head and really charismatic and able to approach anyone they want, those people, they just have a special skill of being present more often than you do. And so you need to practice being present as much as possible. Another reason that we get completely stuck in our head and unable to move and take action on things in our lives we want to take action on is because we can't stop thinking about how what happens in an interaction, like an actual result, reflects on who we are as a person. So if you make an approach, how that interaction goes, for some reason, you're attributing that result to who you are as a person and not to the action you took. And so most times when we get in our head, the biggest problem is that we think that if we get rejected, if something goes wrong, then it says something about us as people or as men. But it doesn't. It says something about what we did. And those are two very different things, because the only thing that actually says something about who we are as a person are consistent actions over a long period of time. If you go up to a woman and you fail and she is not attracted to you and she tells you to fuck off, then that's fine. That happened. You can't take that away. But what else happened was that you learned. Okay, you learned that, hey, I should probably plant my feet. And I should probably make better eye contact and have better body language. All the things I talk about in Attraction Accelerator. Like all of those habits that are just very attractive. You're just learning those attractive behaviors. And so what actually happened was that you got better and you put actions in and you got a result, and now you can change those actions again. Like I've said before in videos where I talk about fear of rejection, the only reason we fear rejection is because we don't think we're going to change, and we're not giving ourselves permission to change our behavior. So if you give yourself permission to change your behavior and you set goals that are process oriented, going up and making an approach and getting a result, and then backing off and thinking, okay, how can I change for next time? If that's the goal, now you're always winning. So those are my 2 tips for getting out of your head. One is to break down the fear of rejection and just understand that you need to set a different goal. not a results oriented goal, but a process oriented goal about, okay, what am I doing? What actions am I putting out? And then how can I adjust my actions in the future based on that feedback? The second one is to go out and actually objectively look at what's going on around you. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody cares what is going on. Nobody cares that you're looking like a fool in public. No one cares that you even walked up to them. No one cares. They're going to think about it for 30 seconds and then they're going to move on. Or, worst case scenario, they're going to have a funny story for their friends, and that's it. As long as you're genuinely giving value and you're providing to the people that you're talking to in public while you're overcoming social anxiety or working on your cold approach skills, you're going to make a positive impact, and people are not going to care. People are too obsessed with what they're doing anyway. The reason you're stuck in your head is because you're too obsessed with yourself. And so those people are just not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. They're thinking about their own insecurities. All right, so I want you to go out and take this and apply it. Let me know in the comments how it goes. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.